Frisbee go. You want your topple? Okay. Whenever I use a box like this, I put water in it and then I pour that water into her lick mat. I ended up making a huge mess. I forgot to put a tray under it. And I know to do that. I've been making lick mats for a while. I know to put a tray under it. I didn't. I just poured that liquid right on there and then I went to get up and I was like, oh no. So luckily, some of it spilled onto Pharaby's puzzle, which is fine. I usually just let her ask for what she wants, but because there was liquid food on here, I just sat it down and suggested it myself. The last 2 episodes of Love is Blind is out today, and we are actually gonna watch that this morning. I did some work last night and scheduled some things, and I just looked this morning to make sure everything posted, and it did. But that way I could take this morning and watch it. I wanted to give an update on the deodorant from the other day. So I ended up getting scared and my body going into panic mode. That deodorant did not work through that, which I didn't expect it to, because you know, if you have PTSD, you know why it wouldn't, but I was hoping it would, but it was like I had no deodorant on. But it still works, like for daily stuff, I still am loving it. And I still haven't had any adverse effects with my skin or anything. So I'm still very happy with it, but it just didn't work for PTSD sweat. I ended up getting a Walmart grocery delivery the other day. And oh my gosh, it's the best thing I've ever done. If you remember last fall, I guess, might have been the beginning of last year. Yeah, actually, I think it was the beginning of last year. I ended up getting Instacart one time and I was trying it out with Kroger and it was a nightmare. It put me off from wanting to try any grocery delivery for a little while because that was a true nightmare. Like I sat there and had to talk to that woman through text the whole time and like tell her where stuff was. And it's just, that to me was more irritating than actually going, and going makes me have anxiety. So both were equally bad. So whenever I saw that Walmart has started delivering to my area, I was like, let me try it out and see, because they sent a thing for a free trial, right? So I figured I would try it out. I ordered everything. There was only one item they were out of, and it told me before, and I didn't have to sit there and go back and forth with the people because it's a Walmart employee that does it. So they actually like work at the store, you know what I mean? So they already like know where everything is, I guess. So it's not a personal shopper in the way of like Instacart is. It's somebody who works at Walmart who's actually putting the groceries in the bags for you. It was Walmart employees who actually delivered it too. They had on Walmart logo shirts, and that was cool too, because the way that this one works, there's different ones, but Walmart Plus Home, I think is what it's called. They don't know who I am, by the way. I'm just sharing my experience with y'all. You pay a monthly fee, and that fee covers your delivery fee, and you're not allowed to tip or anything because the employees are salaried employees. It says on there, or whatever, they're paid, right? Hourly employees maybe. So just like you don't tip your Amazon driver and like there's not an extra delivery fee for Amazon, it's the same way with this Walmart Plus Home thing. Whenever you sign up, it says that you're not supposed to tip. They're not allowed to accept tips. If you want to leave a thank you note, you can, but like you cannot leave monetary tips. And I would never order grocery delivery or something if I couldn't tip, by the way. And I won't go out to eat if I can't tip like 20% too. Like that is my minimum. If I cannot tip you 20%, I will not go do something that the person would need tips for. Does that make sense? I used to serve tables and like, no, I don't care. There's no way I'm going to make somebody run their ass off for me and then not tip you at least 20%, because that's what people live on, is the tips. The way it works here in the US, companies are allowed to pay workers basically, I think it's like $2.19 an hour or something, if they are supposed to get tips too. $2.19 an hour, and that is supposed to cover your taxes, and then your tips are what you actually live on. I want to show y'all my knitting project because I'm working on socks, and I haven't knit socks in, I think I started to knit socks the first Christmas that we lived here actually with this yarn, and they were too tight whenever I got up to the gusset, and so I frogged them the other day, and I'm using the yarn again. This is what it was. Yep, it is. It's blue. Good job. Good job. So this is how far I've got. This pattern is heavily laced. So I know, by the way, for those of you who don't know, I actually started this channel as a knitting channel because I'm an indie dyer. I don't dye yarn now because I moved and I don't have a dye room anymore. I don't have a place to dye. So I had to give that up. But because of that, like I'm a master hand knitter, like literally, like I'm not fucking around with this shit. Like I know what I'm doing. So anyways, I knew that this was not going to show up before I did it, but I'd already started knitting socks with this yarn, and then I just confiscated the yarn, I rewound it, and it was already cut because I tap. So I knew you were not going to be able to see this as well, but my brain cannot handle just knitting plain knits. Like I need an adventure pattern because otherwise it doesn't shut my brain off. The whole point of me knitting is so that I can make my brain space out and do something else. And if it's not like a straight up adventure pattern, it doesn't help. Knitting is definitely a form of escapism for me too, which is also why I quit doing it. Long story, I knit 13 sweaters the year that all of the really bad abuse stuff was going on because I use knitting as a place to basically an outlet, I guess, like a place to put my stress. But with that being said, if it's not a busy enough pattern for me, like the actual like action of knitting, because this is all lace, like all that part that looks like it's holes, that's lace and that's a pattern and that's different stitches than just like plain old knit. So if I don't have something like that, my brain, it doesn't turn my brain off like the way that it needs to. My brain can still wander, does that make sense, and focus on other things that might be problematic or whatever. So Pharaby got this to try recently and we love it so much. So I have the fridge open because more in the fridge. So Pharaby is a brand ambassador for Sundays for Dogs now. So we do have a discount code for y'all for that. It's, if you use code Pharaby, I think it's just Pharaby by itself, you get 50% off your first order with them. So I'll link that below. She loves it. And to be honest, I am so excited about this food because y'all know my thing is human grade. Like that's my thing I look for. And then like after that kind of like game on, right? So they have 3 flavors and it's human grade. All of it's human grade. And let me see if I can take one out of her puzzle and show you. Okay. She's eating, so I just took a piece of her food, so I'll have to be quick. But this is what they look like. They're like little flat pieces and they, like, I don't know if you can tell, they just break really easy. It's an air dried food and it's just really, really cool. I like this. And of course, you know, this is not gonna be the only thing she eats. This is just gonna be part of her rotation. But I love this because it's a different variety. Number one, it's a different texture for her. It's a different shape. So I feel like all of that, and of course it's a different flavor too. But I think all of that matters because part of it is, you know, for me anyway, I like different textures and I have textures I prefer over some textures. So I like that just gives her one more layer of a diverse thing to eat kind of. I had mentioned that I found out that the deodorant wasn't working because I had a panic attack really bad the other day. Well, my body, whenever I go into panic attacks like that, my body's like pulling itself in. So yesterday afternoon, I was thinking, let me see if I can just lay here for longer and have her lay on me. She laid on me for maybe an hour and a half and it helped me a lot, but I need her to do that again today. And I feel like it's the best feeling of the world, but also if you need it for a very long time, I personally feel guilty because I'm laying there with a dog on me for hours, like not being productive. And it's very hard for me to say like, okay, well, this is a medical need, even though it is. Part of what happens to me too, whenever my body is in that, I get very tight in my jaws. And so I've cracked my teeth before, like not meaning to, but just whenever I'm asleep is what happens, because, you know, at that point you don't know not to do stuff like that because you're not conscious, right? To like stop yourself. So I feel like the longer I can spend with her laying on me, the better, but there's literally nothing I can do. I can't have her lay on, like in public, I'll have her do it on my lap, and like maybe I might lay down and have her do that for a second, but I really try not to because I don't want to put my head on the floor, to be honest, and like it's awkward, and you know, there's not much grace given for a 41-year-old woman laying in the middle of the grocery store floor on your back with a dog sitting on your chest. Let me just tell you that. So I typically, if we're out in public, I'll have her do the pressure on my, like she'll sit on my legs and then lean her body against me. And that does bring me down enough to like get maybe to the car and get home or something. But what really does it for me is her laying on my chest area, like my whole entire like torso, for hours. And that will bring my body down. But whenever she's like that, because I can't do anything else, because she's not a huge dog, but whenever she's laying on me like that, I can't, like, there's nowhere for me to hold my phone. I obviously can't put my computer there. So pretty much I'm stuck laying there either listening to like a podcast or something, or a book, or watching something on TV, which is totally valid. Like, that's totally valid. You don't have to do something, but it's very hard as somebody who knows they need to produce things and like be doing things to earn money. It's very hard for me to lay there for like 4 hours and let her do that, because it just feels like I'm not being productive, because I'm not. But the thing is, if that's what I need to do for my health, then technically it's the best thing that I could possibly do, right? So I don't know. I've been kind of struggling with that a little bit, because I know I need to spend more time letting her do that, and I know that would help bring my body down, but it's just so incredibly hard for me to just give in and say, okay, I can lay here for a few hours and have this done. Long story long, I had her do this yesterday for an hour and a half, and it helped me a lot, but now this morning, nothing's happened, but my body is just naturally so high up that I feel like I need her to do that again. And she's a willing participant. Like, she does not mind. She's happy to lay on me for as long as I want. But I just know that I need to do things. And so I have a lot of guilt about not being productive. I think I already said that. Just because I know I need to do something medically doesn't mean that there's gonna be grace for that, I guess. Like, that's still hours out of my day, no matter what. You know what I mean? Even if it's needed, it's still hours out of my day. And also, I don't have but a few good hours anyway, so I don't know. It really kind of takes it out of me. But all of that to say, I think I'm gonna lay here and let her do that, because I'm shaking and stuff. Oh. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I hope you have an awesome week, and we will see you soon. Bye.